So I did it yesterday for a couple of hours to be a big park that's all enclosed, half of it's dog friendly, so most of it's free for the off-leash dog.
Yeah.
So I walked her to there on the leash and heel, took her off, and then said, "You guys free." I did a lap around the whole place, and I intermittently called her. After the first one, she did.
Good.
And then, so that took like 45 minutes to do that, and then we stopped and played Frisbee. There's also a Frisbee golf court in there, so there's all people playing Frisbee around her.
Interesting.
She and I just played Frisbee in the middle.
Yeah.
And she's perfect. The only problem is if I call her, she'll drop her Frisbee.
Oh, yeah. She doesn't keep the hold. Yeah. Okay, so, gotcha.
And then last night, our neighbors had like some friends over, and we're sitting out in the backyard. I had her collar on. She didn't pay any attention.
Good. Good. Excellent. For the holding of the object, like let's say you throw it, will she do a fetch and a retrieve, or does she just
like when we normally play?
Yeah.
Yeah. She brings it. But she brings it back to like typical border collar, like right here.
Okay. But when you issue the come command, she spits it out and then goes, right?
You could just, like, her brain just changed to, I need to get back to that. So
yeah, so she's then, she's anticipating with it most likely. So what I would do is as she gets more comfortable with the recall, I would gamble that once she realizes, like, oh, I'm not going to get tapped every time, and it just means come back, as long as I come back, we're good, that she'll maintain that hold. You can also, what I'll do in the beginning, if you want to actively work on that, is when I throw the Frisbee or the ball, I'll already be moving towards the dog. So by the time they fetch and come to do the retrieve, I'm already like a good part of the way there, that I'll reward them, kind of like they're bringing it to me, right? And I keep repeating that, and then little by little, I go less and less, or not as close to them each time, and so eventually they're doing the full return.
Okay. On getting her to come all the way to the retrieve. Okay. So instead of dropping the Frisbee, she'll like run up to you and then turn and then drop the Frisbee and like get back to what you're going for.
Sure.
So I've been trying to, the other night I was trying to get her to come all the way with food. She was doing really well, and then the next night she didn't.
Sure. Does she eat prior to the session at all or anything?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay. Is she like a picky eater kind of?
She's not picky, she's not real interested.
Okay. Give it up and then give it a little 10 here. Yeah. What's your number currently? Good. This is those random fireworks I was talking about. Yep. What we're going to do as well, we're going to pop her on a long leash as a precaution. Because unfortunately, do you have one?
I had ours.
Yeah. We're gonna go ahead and put that on her just in case. I hate fireworks.
Yeah.
Even
yeah, with our last dog we had, who was a border collie, was right there. That was when we first moved to Logan Square. I've never.
We'll keep both. Yeah, the long one is just in case, if something spooks her out and we get caught off guard, we have something longer to grab.
I've never been Charlie's cat my entire life. Like, I was literally like, okay, now I understand how this is supposed to emulate like wartime, because it was just this din coming from everywhere.
Sure.
It's crazy.
Sure.
Anyway.
Yeah. So here, the con is we got some random fireworks. So it's like the pro is now you get to work with Dinah while she's under stress.
Yeah.
Okay. So these are things that most trainers don't factor in my opinion. I think just treat training like every day is gonna be perfect, but sometimes you're gonna be out and get caught off guard. So here, when you see her go into flight mode, it's similar to like I think over by you with the train tracks and stuff.
Yeah.
Is here since we're not moving actively, like we're not in heel. We want her to just shut down those nerves. So the first thing, I don't say sit or anything, I just lightly pull up and tap to get her to settle herself, okay? So it's not a sit, it's just a relaxed state is what I like to call it, okay? In regards to the feeding, is she free fed?
Yeah.
She is? That's why. That's a big reason why. So what I would do is, what's her total meal for the day?
It's like a cup and a half twice a day.
3 cups?
She doesn't eat it all.
I was gonna say that's a lot of food for a small dog.
And she was still really in her growth spurt. She was ramping up so fast that we kind of kept just increasing it. But I would say rarely does she eat all of that.
Maybe that thing's only a quarter cup. That's what we have.
It is.
So she's getting 3 cups a day.
Allowed 3 cups a day. I don't know when she's finished that.
Okay.
A lot of times dinner becomes part of breakfast and carries over.
Yeah. So free feeding and overfeeding, great combination of great behavior. So if you want to get more out of the food for the training and stuff, is she's probably, man, like, I would be feeding her probably a cup, maybe a cup and a quarter, if a cup and a half. Okay, because she's how many pounds?
35 probably.
35? Because my chow mix was 20. Yeah, okay, I mean, if you want to do that. I'm just like, cool down 5 minutes, yeah.
I think we started.
Because I get some puppies that like will only eat when the owner's in the room, and I'm like, that's attachment issues. So I'm like, you want to break that, it's okay, go ahead and shorten up the leash a little bit to give you a little bit more leverage, and up. There we go, and then relax. Good. So the best you can do here is really just settle her, keep her contained, okay? 5 minutes down, whatever she doesn't eat, put it away. I don't compensate meals or anything like that. I don't add 2 meals together. If she's not eating it, eventually she'll get the hint of like, oh, food's only out for 5 minutes, and I better eat. Okay? So we'll go ahead and get started so that we can get our brain focused on something else. Place command, very simple. Okay? It means go here, stay here, don't move. I don't care what she does on the area itself. She can sit, stand, lay down, chew on a bone, play, like reposition all that stuff. It's just stay within the threshold of the area. Okay? So this, like let's say you go to a restaurant, bring her with you, bring a towel, bring a yoga mat, I'm gonna bring a mat, pop it down, place, there she is, and then you can enjoy your meal. Okay? Down is also like down, like that position, right? Is more strict because it's lay down, don't move, don't break that position. Okay? So this one's more lenient, so I like to start with this one first because it makes it easier for the owner to practice in the beginning, and then we can progress that to like other things if you want. Okay? So what we're gonna do here, we're not gonna worry about the workplace or anything like that. You're gonna start about a foot away from or 2 feet away from the area mat, and you're gonna start tapping first, and then you're gonna add leash pressure. Okay? You may see her go like this. And she's like, I don't know what this object is, I'm not familiar with it, right? So choking up higher so you're closer to the collar gives you more immediate leverage, and then you'd have to use more physical force or direction to bring her on top of there. Typically after the first 2 to 3, if the dog's having issues, it gets super simple. Okay, once they understand like, oh, all I gotta do is step on this area and everything goes away, they tend to be fine. Okay, so I'll have to go ahead and bring Dinah over. Good. About right there. And then what's your number currently? 30. Okay. There you go. What you can do is some of my clients will put like a rubber band at the base of the dial, and it helps slow it down so it's not so, you can do that. Okay, so what you're gonna do here is you're gonna start tapping, tap, tap, and lead with your leash towards the placemat. Tap, 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 tap. A little bit more leash pressure. Tap, 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 tap. There. Right there. Good girl. We're not gonna care about that right now. We're just gonna care that she hopped on it, right? But you can see that apprehension already, okay? So now here, since she's on, let's go to 35. Oh, it's balloons here. Yep, 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 yep. Relax. Yep, 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 yep. Yep, 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 yep. What's the number at currently?
30.
Let's go to 45. Yep. Yep, yep, yep. 55. Good. Go to the cap. Cap. Lightly pull to your left side. Cap. Right there. Good. Cap. Up. Cap. Cap. Relax a moment. Cap. Yeah.
To hurt women, but she managed it.
Yeah. Up, tap. There you go, now relax. Good, all right. So now we're having to use power to override emotional state.
I'm still laughing.
It's okay.
That was really unexpected. I don't get a lot of that in my day, so. Okay.
So, up. So whenever we're trying to settle, always up. Up de-escalate, okay? And the more you choke up on that leash, because you know how you're up here with the leash pressure? When you're shorter on the leash, you're then up here. And you have more immediate leverage that we can prevent some leaps and lunges, okay? So the best you can do really with something like this is just getting her to settle and sit still, okay? So now we'll keep it at 55 because she's under stress. We're going to repeat, again, using that leash pressure towards the placemat, and if we need to dip it down, we will. But I think we might need more power to push the stress out.
Yeah.
Okay? So go ahead and a little bit leash pressure towards the placemat. Tap, tap, tap. Very good. Good. Now relax a moment. You good? And praise.
Good girl.
Good girl. No, real tough. You're having a
Good. And relax. Good. Yep. Good. And you see the word break.
Okay, break.
Good. And we're going to repeat that 4 more times.
Doesn't matter what direction you come at it.
Any direction.
Okay.
Yep. Yep. There she is. Add a girl. And
Good.
praise.
There we go. That's the right thing.
Good. And release. Break.
Okay, break.
Good. 3 more.
You just want to climb inside your mom. Be safe.
Good. Good.
Good girl. Good
Good.
super
Wait a moment.
intense.
Go ahead and give a tap just to dial it down here. There we go. Now tap. Tap. And when I use pressure to lead her back, tap. Yep. 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 Better. Add a girl.
Good girl.
Good. We do 2 more. Good.
Good job.
Good. We're gonna do 1 more. Yep. 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 Yep.
Oh, tapping?
Yeah. Yep. Look. So now you're leading her back 1 more.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. Yep. Atta girl. Good job. And praise.
Good.
Good. So those first 2 or 3, a little bit difficult, right? Stressed about what's going on over there. Stressed about going to this new object. So then you need more physical to help her compensate for that.
Yeah.
Later on, once she realizes, oh, once I get on this thing, everything goes away. It's just essentially learning like this is like the safe zone. So kind of like with the heel, right? That pocket right next to you, that's the safe zone. Here, same thing. Now we're teaching her to go somewhere. Okay. So now what we're gonna do is same process, except now you're not gonna walk all the way to it. You're gonna stay about 2 to 3 feet back, and we're gonna use the tapping and slight leash pressure to get her to descend on her own without you actively having to move there. And we'll also do it from different directions, okay? We're not saying anything quite yet because we're just teaching Dinah to actually to go to the mat with the remote, okay? So release. Hold right there, tap. Right there, add a girl. Now tap. Tap. So here you want to correct.
Okay.
So now we're going to be more strict as well.
Okay.
We'll let that one go.
Okay.
So we want her to send, but stay put as well. Okay? So she hopped on, that was great. It was 1 tap, boom. But then she's like, okay, I'm done. is you would keep with the remoting to lead her back. We wouldn't say anything or do anything. But now we're correcting. We're saying, no, now you have to go there and also stay there. Okay? Good. Release. Good. Yep, good. Good. And the girl, wait a moment. Yep, counter pressure, a little bit more. There we go. Good girl, wait a moment. Good. Wait a moment. Now release.
Good girl.
Good.
Good.
Good, run through 3 more. Yep, good. Add a girl. Wait a moment. Yep. Pressure. Yep. There she goes. We can go down. Let's go down to 40. Correct that. Yep. Lose pressure. There she goes. Good. Wait a moment. Yep. Good. Wait a moment. Good. So you can see all that anxiety and stress is wanting her to make her move. So now we're just counting her, not shifting some pain on us. Okay. Go to release. Break. Good. 2 more. Good. Wait a moment. Release. Good. We'll do 1 more. Good. Pause right there. Excellent. Getting easier and easier. You can still see how she's anxious, right? Her panting, her ears, just the way she's like looking around and everything, right?
She's a little ready.
Yeah. Okay. So now what we're gonna do is we're progressively make this harder. Is you're gonna do the send like you were, but then after you do the send, you're gonna start to walk around Dinah. Okay. You're gonna do about 1 lap. Now, if she breaks off, you're gonna come to a stop, correct her to go back on again, and try to complete 1 full lap without her moving. Okay. Once we finish that, then we'll swap hands.
Okay.
Good. Tap. Good. Try again. Yeah, good. Oh, big yawn.
We start again from where we started.
Try 1 more. Yeah, try to complete this lap. So every time she breaks off, tap. A little bit more leash pressure. There she goes. We'll dip it down. We'll go down to 30. So now you're going to try to complete 1 lap. Okay. There you go. Then we'll come to a pause. Wait a moment. And release. Good. We're going to try that 4 more times. Good. That's okay. As long as she doesn't step off. That's okay. Tap. There you go. Add a girl. Try to do a lap. Good. Hold on for a moment and release. Good. We're going to do 3 more. Good. Good.
Okay, you're free.
Good. 2 more. Release. Good. I'm gonna do one more, then we'll swap. Good girl. Good. And now what we're going to do here is actually don't release. We're going to swap handlers here, but she's going to stay put, okay? Remote?
I suppose so.
There you go. Very good. So instead of giving her the release right away, I'll have you praise her a little bit and then walk around to see if she'll make the mistake so we can correct it and then see if we can get a lap and then do the release.
So praise her and then walk around?
Correct. Yep, and then walk. More so just to add a little distraction, see if she moves. Good. And release. Good. All right. Hey, what we're gonna do for you here, Corey, is we're gonna have you send from like where that distance is at. I think that's about 4 to 5 feet there. Because now we're just gonna progressively go further back, but also sending from different places to the placemat. Okay.
Okay, so guys, take her straight from here.
So here, you're gonna stay where you're at. You're gonna start tapping and just use your leash pressure to see if Dinah will send from there on her own.
Oh,
Okay. So tap, tap, yep, a little bit of leash pressure, tap, pull forward. There you go, like that. Good. And now you'll start to walk around. That's okay. That's okay. Good. And come in and praise her a little bit. Got a girl. And then go ahead and go for the release.
Okay.
Good. Again. Yep. Yep, there she goes. Add a girl. There you go. Good. Gonna walk around. Tap. 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 There you go. Add a girl. Another lap around. Good. Release. Good. Let's try sending her from like over here. Changing it up a little bit. Tap, tap, tap. There you go, right there. At a girl. Going around. Girl. Good. Release. Good. We're going to try for 2 more. Tip. Tap. Right there. At a girl. Good. One more. Tap, tap, you got it. Good. We're gonna pause right there. All right. So now we're going at a further distance and getting her to do most of the work. So the reason why I don't walk the dog to the placemat is that will become a part of the command. So most trainers will do that, but then you're always walking the dog there, and I wanted to say a word when the dog goes. So what you would need her to do, of course, is going to be depending on just your own personal preference. I had a client who wanted to send his dog from any place within the home. So I was like, okay, well then you just have to work your way back and then try it from every place within the home. I got other clients that just go, I want to just send the dog, and the dog goes and that doesn't move, right? They don't care about being able to send a ripper. I'm like, all right, that's fine. I'm like, just train to that degree, okay? So I remove some steps because they're not needed. It's really just starting close, getting her to figure out that when she feels a tap, that going there is going to shut everything off, and then when she gets that concept, I can just tap, start moving backwards or moving further away and getting her to do that on her own. So then I remove myself from the command, like me needs the leader there. So this is one part of it. It's just the send, and then we have the go there and don't move part of it, okay? This part, if you each did like a 2 to 3 minute session a day, you're fine, okay? When it comes to practicing duration, right off the bat, you can do an hour, 3 hours, 15 minutes, whatever you wanted, like as soon as you went home today, okay? You're just gonna have to correct mistakes. So for us at the facility, we have like columns, and we have a placemat next to each column, and we have leash tethers, okay? So like once, like for instance, we have like 2 boarding trains coming in. Once we teach the placemat or the place command, we right away start pushing duration. It's the easiest thing to practice, but the one thing that everybody like kind of pushes off, and I think it's because it's so easy to practice and they think they can just do it whenever. But then when it comes to the point when they need it, they haven't worked on it, and then they're like like last minute high school project and trying to do it. Whereas for us, because it is so easy, and it's a great exercise because it's a mental exercise. You know, dogs like a 3 to 4 year old kid mentally, and 3 to 4 year old kids want to move and all that stuff. Very hard for a little kid to behave themselves and be quiet. So we like to use this command because that essentially allows us to practice mental exercise as opposed to physical exercise. Okay, so we have the tether. So what we do is once we taught the command, we'll send the dog. We'll then switch the leash to the tether, and then we walk away. And as we walk away, the dog might think like, okay, I'm done, and try to sneak away. And we don't even need to go to the dog because they're tethered. They're able to get off of the place. They just can't get very far. So then we'll sit there from a distance and we tap them and correct them until eventually they'll self-correct. And then we don't need to even touch the leash. So then we can grab another dog. I can be all the way across the facility training another dog. And if the one that we have tethered in place is making a mistake, I can correct them from across the facility. And then they go back on. So they're like, you don't even need to be near me in order for you to be able to correct me, okay? So when it comes to practicing this within the home, if you have something to tether to, then it's easier for you because then you can skip steps, okay? So like some of my clients have like the old school radiators, and in the summer they're not using them, right? So then I'm like, you can tether the dogs to that radiator, have the bed there. And then they're cleaning, vacuuming, and doing all the things that they would normally do as distraction, and it's just correcting the dog as they make the mistakes. If the client does not have the ability to tether the dog, then the first stage for this week, what we would do is you can choose a dog bed. It can be a blanket, a towel, a rug, an ottoman, anything that has a perimeter. Okay, she needs something to differentiate between where she's at and then the other surface. So like I can't say place and expect her to know what place is here. There's no boundary.
We have a thing similar to that.
So like this is
Yeah.
cool. So then when you go home, you want to do this, you know, if you're going to start to implement it, you want to warm her up to that first. A couple of cents, just to get her to realize, like, oh, like this is also another place that I'm going to go to, okay? I always start with the dog beside me. So like in my office, like I'll take a placemat if I have some boarding trains working, and I'll pop it next to me, and I'll place the dog, and I'll be there like editing videos for like 2 to 3 hours, okay?
Is it good to mix up what we're using as the place so that she doesn't think it's just the object? So like, if we have one of these at home and we work on it, should we also try like another type of mat or a roll rug so that she doesn't think that place is the thing? It's
right. I know what you're saying.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
That's not the only place.
Right. So like, I've had clients that'll have like a dog bed in the bedroom, maybe a mat like in the dining room, and then like in the living room, and then the kitchen they have like a kitchen mat, and they'll send the dog to that. The place is respected to that individual room, and the dog will learn that. So that if you're in the dining room and you say a place, she would go to the one within the dining room, you know, because it's the picture. Now, you can have different places, but then you're going to want to teach her what each one is individually. Like, don't assume that if you've already taught her 5 other ones and you have a mat here that she's never worked with in the same place, that she's just going to go. most of the time dogs need a little bit of guidance, but once it clicks, like once they do a few reps, they're like, oh, okay, like this is the same thing as all the other stuff, okay? You can keep one in your car. A lot of my clients will keep like a blanket or towel in their car, so when they go to a restaurant, they can just bring it out, pop it down, throw the dog in place. So it's super simple. In terms of incorporating it, maybe while you're cooking, eating dinner, working from home, you know, I tend to use this more in the beginning in the home to prep for like outside. Because if you go to a restaurant, there's gonna be a lot more things going on. I mean, people, distractions, food, scents, you know, the waiter and all that stuff. Is that, let's say we want to be able to take Dinah to a restaurant with us. And you know, a meal's like what, an hour to hour and a half roughly. Well, in the home, I would practice maybe 2 to 2.5 hours. So I'm making it more difficult in the home through duration to compensate for like the distraction that's going to be at the exactly, right? Because obviously in the home you're not going to have so many distractions going on that you can kind of make up for doing that. And I do this right off the bat. In the beginning, always next to you, leash on, set up, collar, Dinah place, and then maybe I watch Netflix for 2 hours. And then 45 minutes goes by and she goes, okay, I'm bored. She tries to walk off. I don't repeat. We're going to use the command. We're going to implement it now, but I don't repeat the command in place. I just start tapping to correct her, okay? And then 20 minutes goes by, she tries to sneak off again, tap to correct her. Never repeating the word, okay? If you repeat the command, you're resetting. You're not teaching her to not get off in the first place. So for a dog, place and sit, like sit would override place, right? That would become the new command that she's in. If you say place and then place again, even though it's the same command, you're overriding the previous one. Okay, and it's a very small detail, something that a lot of people do, is they'll keep repeating the words and they'll say like, Jesse, my dog won't hold it down for like more than a couple of minutes. And I'll ask like, are you repeating the down? They'll say yes. Like that's why your dog won't stay down in position longer because you keep resetting.
Yeah.
So I send, let them make mistakes. They make a mistake, I correct them, no warning. So then she thinks, oh, when I go here, when I'm sent here, if I try to sneak away prematurely, this is an automatic thing. And the only way to avoid it is not to break the position in the first place. Okay, it's a tiny little detail, but it makes a big difference in the training. Okay, questions so far?
No.
I'm just thinking of all the ways that we can implement this.
Yeah, anytime you want her to just like keep still. What we're gonna do here is we're gonna go ahead and release her. And by the way, like the fact that she'll sit in this whole time does not matter. Okay, she can sit, lay down, stand up, chew on a bone, chew on a toy. She just cannot step off of the place. We do want to watch what's on the mind. So like my Pitty when she was a puppy, when I taught her place, like I remember leaving to like go make a sandwich, and I came back, and I kid you not, she was like with one toe like this. Tap, tap. That a girl.
Free.
Good girl. 2 more.
Place.
Good. Gonna walk around. Good. Release.
Free.
Good girl. One more. One more.
And I might have missed. Did you say to drop the leash, or was that just our
That was just
invention? Just to check in.
freelancing. Zip, trying to back up. Place.
Good. Add a girl. Good. Gonna walk around. Good. Go ahead and come in and you'll praise real quick. Good. Yeah. Yeah. Good. Praise. Good. Yeah. Yeah. Praise.
Good.
Yeah. Praise. lap around. Good. Wait a moment. Yep. Go ahead and pass the remote. Swap. Tap. 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 There we go. Good. Good. Yep. Good. You'll come in and praise. And the same thing whenever she jumps up, at least when she's on the placemat correctly, so she keeps, yep, yep. There we go. Yep, yep, good. Praise. Good. So whenever you're trying to like get her like to correct jumping and stuff, when I come in with the energy and the dog gives me the behavior, I'll stop the petting, remote. Once they get back, like paws on the ground, I pet again. They jump up, I remote, back down, then I pet. And I try to refrain from changing that picture. So she's getting the concept like, oh, like just because you're giving me a lot of affection here or whatever, doesn't mean I can just jump on you. At least on the command itself, okay? Now, if you don't care if she jumps on you and she gives you like that excited energy, I don't care. But when it comes to the commands, like let's say she was in a sit or a down, like those positions as well, we would correct it because it's very specific, okay? Go ahead and do a quick little lap around.
Oh, okay.
Good. And now release. Good. We're going to do that 4 more times.
Good. Good. Stand in place.
Good. Try doing another left the other way. And the girl. And release. Good. We'll do 3 more.
Stand in place. She likes the stuff where she gets to just lay down.
Good.
Oh, I capper.
Oh, did you accidentally cap her?
I did.
Okay.
I anticipated what she was about to do, but
Gotcha.
I should have waited.
It's all right. Go ahead and release.
Okay, good girl.
Good. We're going to do 2 more.
Good. I know. Careful, you're gonna fall back. Okay.
Huh. Good.
Stand in place.
Good. Very good. Release.
Okay, good girl.
And last one.
Stand in place.
Very good. Pause right there. How's she feel about motorcycles?
Doesn't like him.
Okay, I can see. I saw it perked up her attention. Very good. Pretty simple, right? She's got the send down. She's got the understanding of the task of the workplace itself. So again, this exercise is sending her 2 to 3 minutes, and you determine how well do you want her to be trained in terms of like send. Do you want to be able to send her from anywhere, right? Or do you just want to be able to send her from like a few feet away? The real important thing is her maintaining the position for a period of time. Okay. Questions so far about this?
So when the person was doing this, like being able to send the dogs from one room to another room,
Yep.
do they have like specific name for the place, or just say place and the dog associates place with that one spot.
So you can have more than, like, let's say you had place, mat, bed, and crate, right? And they each refer to a bed or whatever in a specific room. A dog can learn that.
So we can just do the same technique with crate instead of place.
Correct. Yeah. And then you have to practice that. And then not only practice that, but if you start to see confusion, then you have to practice between the two to differentiate, like, this is place, this is crate, this is mat, or whatever. If you just use the single term of place and you're in one room, she will most likely think to go to the one within that room.
Yeah, that's right. You would use place for the office.
Correct. Yeah, she wouldn't run out of your office and like go downstairs or whatever into the living room. She should go to the one within the room itself. Now, if you wanted to send from like place, like you're in one room and sending her to another room, is you can use body language to differentiate. Right. So I remember like I worked with Little Yorkie, and I had 4 placemats, and he would go to the one that I would point to, but the word was the same. Okay. Other than that, like realistically speaking, not really necessary. You know, just do it type of thing. Do not try to do recall from place, because then you'll create a problem where she's going to think that you're gonna call her. Okay. Yes. So then it creates that problem of her prematurely leaving and running to you because she's thinking like, oh, you're just going to call me. Okay, so I stay away from that. I also do not like to release the dog at a distance or in a different room. I always release when I'm next to the dog, okay? Because again, creating that problem of she might prematurely break thinking she heard you release her from another room. But if it's always, I'm here next to you when I release you, unlikely she's going to make that mistake. Because again, dogs are very much how things are practiced, they're very routine. So if it's always, mom and dad are always here when they release me, we're going to prevent that problem from happening. Okay?
She's delivering really hard. I've just never seen her do that.
Yeah, I mean, it takes a while for the stress to go up. Because not only was the fireworks happen, but then also you had to counter her. And it was kind of like deal with it, right? So then that creates more stress. But she actually calmed down, even though she's shaking a bit here. Yeah. She actually calmed down. Like we went down from the 55 to the 30 now, to give you an idea. So when working with the dog under stress, it's not going to be perfect, you know, but it's more so I'm just looking for the function of like just don't run away, you know, or like if you had her stationary, like don't move from this area. But she's going to be very like emotionally restricted. Okay.
Oh, that reminds me of a question from the other night. So we were trying to come in the backyard, free of leash, fenced backyard and everything, between the two of us. And like, I was finding myself repeating come because she was just circling around him, or vice versa.
Right. Oh,
so I need to, because I mean I was saying come, not come, but just like giving her a sec, she's not getting it, she's not responding to buzzes, like come again. Because I'm having a sense like she thinks she's doing the right thing, so do I need to reset and say come again?
So what you can do, or what he can do, is if she goes to the wrong person, whoever she goes to, so if she goes to Corey and you were calling her, and she's not responding, as I grab her collar and I run towards the person calling, and I kind of like a bowling ball.
Okay.
Okay. Now, when you're moving towards Julie, and when you're doing this, like you'll kind of feel as you're pulling, where Dinah will start to go on her own, and then I let the collar go. Because if you just try to literally bowling ball her, she'll just whoop, come right back. So you might end up where you're like right in front of Julie before she actually goes. That's fine. You're just trying to get the motion of leave me and go here. Okay. And using food for these things too also helps her. It motivates her a bit more to think. But yeah, it's a super common problem. Okay.
Because I kind of felt like standing there, not repeating the command, buzzing her when she's just, because we were going back and forth, we were ping-ponging who said come. So she thinks it's right and it's not working, and I didn't feel like it was getting us anywhere. So that's a great tool.
Another thing you can do is crouch down.
Okay.
Crouch, or even like crouch and move back.
Yeah.
To
we moved back. We did the move back thing, but then there's like no nowhere to go back. She hasn't come yet, or whatever.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
You can also do from a closer distance. You know. Yeah. So it gives you more space to work with. It makes it easier also for her to leave to go to the next person because they're right there as opposed to like 30 feet away.
Yeah, because I said, hey, why don't we back up a little more, maybe to like get into a line that you're supposed to go, but yeah, maybe it's a bit closer to where you're going.
Yeah. Whenever a dog's having trouble with something, I'll try to think about what I can make easier to help them get it, and then slowly work my way back, right? So like, for instance, let's say with the send here, and maybe I go this far, and I'm trying to send Dinah, it's harder because it's like 10 feet away, and she's struggling, so I go, okay, I'm gonna make it easier then, and I'm gonna come like halfway in the middle, and see if she gets it there, and then try to work my way back again. Okay? But it's a super common problem. I mean, recall does take people the longest. You guys have a backyard, but then you want to also think like, you know, like when you went to the open park or whatever, like just realistically practicing it in that kind of environment. The other thing is, realistically speaking, you wouldn't be ping-ponging her back and forth, right? It would be like she'd be out with the both of you, and you'd call her, and then, you know, it would be that one time, and maybe you would release her again. So whenever we do things like that, it tends to be more difficult for the dog because they tend to assume, you know. So like with the send, I think there was one time or a couple times where she even like when you walked away, try to shoot back towards the bed because she's already assuming like you're just gonna send me there anyways, and she's trying to jump the gun.
Yeah.
So okay. Anything else?
Do you train yours?
I train all dogs. Yeah.
So when I was yesterday with her, the last part when we went to leave, I had her free off leash, like kind of near me, and then I told her to come as we got to the place where we crossed over into the leash required area, and then walked her from there back almost all the way to the car in heel, and she was doing it perfectly. But there were these two women walking Yorkies who stopped me. They were so impressed. I wanted to know how old she was, how we was doing this.
Yeah.
But they looked at their dogs and like, well, I don't know that we would need a professional trainer. We just need a better.
Yeah.
Little tiny.
With the little dogs, like, and even myself, like I had a lady, I actually trained her dog for like 2 years, her Yorkie, but her Yorkie was like 4 pounds, and it was really just trick stuff. But it was a 4-pound Yorkie that had no, like, wasn't barky or anything like that. The lady was never going to take her off leash, was always on a leash and all that stuff. Like, well, you don't need this kind of training, but she wanted to do fun trick stuff. So then I did that with her for a couple of years. But I trained a couple of Yorkies, because they make remote collar for dogs under 10 pounds and stuff.
Oh, okay.
But most people, because they're so small, like, don't think to train their dogs.
Yeah.
But actually, I had a friend of mine, I think it was a friend of his, they were walking their Yorkies, like, over, like, in a golf course that was, like, behind their home or whatever. And one of the Yorkies went over one of the, like, the hills. And when they went over the hill, the Yorkie was gone. So I think it picked up the dog. So I was like, yeah, I mean, that's why I don't like letting dogs out of my sight. But yeah, anything else?
I don't think so.